building scalable microservices with .NET 6, leverage the power of Azure Cloud Services. So this is an overview of the whole program. In this video, we're not gonna get into deep knowledge into all the services. For that, you can review video by video that we have in the blog. For this one, we're just gonna see how to configure everything in less than an hour. First, let's review the architecture. We're gonna have 4 microservices. This is for demonstration purposes, and this is just simple APIs building in .NET 6. We have 4 microservices, one for history to check the transactions, one that generates the transactions, one for the account, and one for security. Each one is going to have its own database. The security is going to have an SQL database. The account is going to have an SQL database. The transaction is going to have a Postgres database. And the history is going to have a CosmosDB, essentially the NoSQL. That's the name of the product, NoSQL, CosmosDB. Also, the history microservice is going to connect to the Azure cache. This is a Redis cache, which makes transactions faster to the user. It reduces latency and it increases throughput. So another service that we're going to be reviewing is the Azure Service Bus. The Azure Service Bus, we're going to send the message when a transaction C is created by the transactions microservice to the Azure Service Bus, and the Azure Service Bus is going to send the message to 2 subscriptions. One is the account subscriptions that is going to send the message to the account microservice, and the other one is going to send the message using the history subscriptions to the history process, which is an Azure function. The Azure function is going to send the message to the CosmosDB, and in that way the history microservice is going to be getting the information from the CosmosDB. This way we decouple the history, so it is only in charge to go to the database and retrieve all the information, and it is not in charge of processing the messages from the Azure Service Bus. We deliver that responsibility to the Azure function, and that's how we decouple the Azure Service Bus and the history microservice. Well, also another component that we're going to be using is the Azure App configuration, in which we have centralized configuration for all the whole services. So each time we need to change some configuration or just the same configuration, we just point to the app config and we retrieve the configuration for the app configuration service. We have the Azure Application Insights to log everything what happens inside our services, and it's also a centralized service where we can just go and it's specialized to retrieve logs. Well, all the services are gonna be stored in the Azure repos. In the Azure repos, we're gonna have all our services, including the Azure function, into the Azure repos using Git. And as you can see here, in the part of the Azure DevOps, we are gonna have a continuous integration, CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery. And when the services are ready and someone pushes the changes into the Azure repos, it is gonna trigger the continuous integration, and the continuous integration is gonna send this pipeline is gonna send a job that is gonna build a Docker image, and it's gonna store that into the Azure Container Registry. The Azure Container Registry is another component into the Azure services, which stores Docker images. Another step in the Azure DevOps is that we're gonna configure an Azure pipeline. In this case, continuous delivery, that is under the releases configuration in Azure. And this is also a job that is going to be triggered by the Azure Pipeline Continuous Integration when it finishes. And this is going to be in charge to publish the images into another component called Azure Kubernetes. The Azure Kubernetes is a service that is managed also by Azure. And what it does is it is in charge of managing Kubernetes inside Azure. Once the applications are deployed into Kubernetes, they are ready for the users to have access to the services, the microservices. But we are gonna configure another component that is the API management, which it contains an API gateway to be the entry point for our clients. In this case, we're gonna manage here also the security and the entry point. So the clients will have to authenticate first to be able to have access to the actual services in Azure Kubernetes. And this is gonna be what we're gonna be doing during this video. So let's start. We're gonna follow the post that I have here. Now that the diagram is explained, and actually also I explained all the services that we're gonna be using in Azure. Let's start by actually creating the resource group where all the components that we're gonna be created are gonna be organized inside this group. So let's go and create the actual resource group. So let's create a new one, and we're gonna call it Microservices for Azure. And our region is gonna be the East. We don't need anything else. We just go to review and create. The next step, once we have created the Azure resource group, is actually we're gonna create the Azure databases. We need an SQL and a Postgres and a CosmosDB. So this is the next step. These are all the databases that Azure supports: Azure CosmosDB, Azure SQL database, for MySQL, Postgres, MariaDB, Synapse Analytics, Redis that we're gonna be creating that after, Azure Data Explorer, Table Storage, Databricks. So let's go and start. So first, we go to Microsoft Azure and we type here SQL databases. We're gonna create the database. We select the resource group that we just created. The name of the database For example, this is gonna be for security. In the DB initialized, in the app config, we can see that the name of the database is gonna be DB security. We copy this one. It's not necessary that we create the database right now because they are gonna be created once we launch the application, but we wanna do it right now. Each SQL database needs to be running under the server, so we need to create a server. In this case, we're just gonna create one server, and we're gonna have different SQL databases running in this server. So we need to create a new one, SQL database server, and just to make it unique, I'm gonna put my name here. We choose the same location. We're gonna in this case we're gonna use SQL authentication, user admin, David, password. It has to be secure. So I'm just gonna create really quick a secure a secure password for all of our databases. We create the server. We're gonna change this to be a cheaper database, so we just need the basic, and we want to reduce this to only 1.1 gigabyte, and it's gonna cost just $5 per database. We just need locally redundant right now, and review and create. We create the database. Okay. So as I said before, we are going to be creating the actual server and the database for the security microservice, and for the other one, it is going to be created when we launch the application. It is as a initializer in the my account microservice that if the database doesn't exist, we're going to create it. So we don't need to actually go and create the database. The next one is going to be the Postgres and the CosmosDB NoSQL. So we go to the Postgres, Azure database for Postgres server, create an Azure database, Azure database for Postgres, let's choose a single server. We're going to select the same resource group, this one is gonna be the name of the server. It's gonna be a unique name. We don't need a backup. East US is okay. The last version we wanna change for a basic computer and storage. We're gonna click here in basic, and we're gonna reduce the cores and the storage. Auto grow, no. Backup retention period, 7 days is okay. The minimum. Local redundant, it's okay. So for this one, $25 per month. We're gonna click here for the admin account, and I'm gonna paste the same password for everything. We check that everything is set up as we want, we create it. And last one, we're gonna create or CosmosDB. We click here, create Azure CosmosDB account, and the one we're gonna choose is gonna be the Azure CosmosDB for NoSQL, because this one is gonna be supporting Azure triggering and Azure bindings actually for the Azure for the Azure function. This one has some bindings, and to be able to use the bindings, we're gonna need to use the CosmosDB for NoSQL. So we create this one. We choose the same resource group, the account name, location, instance details. So this is the name. So it's gonna be a unique name, location east. We're gonna select serverless. This way we're gonna have all the responsibility. We're gonna deliver all the responsibility to Azure to increase and decrease the size of the DB account. We click here, review and create. We check that all the settings are correct. And we can leave it as it is.